Hello, my dear friends. A few weeks ago, Moshe Tendler passed away. He was a very great person. He was a great Talmid Chacham. He was a Rosh Yeshiva in Yeshiva University for many decades. He was the head of the biology department there as well. He was a Rav in Monsey, and he was the son-in-law of the illustrious Rav Moshe Feinstein, who was one of the great poskim of our generation. Rabbi Tendler made the following comment about Chanukah. He said that the message of Chanukah is that we have to live up to our potential. And just as the Jewish people, when they came to the Beis Hamikdash, they found one little flask of oil and they lit it and it burned for 8 days, much more than they had even dreamt or imagined. In the same way, we all have a little flask of oil contained within ourselves, and if we light it, it can give much more light than we ever thought we were capable of before. And the message is that we have to live up to our potential. Now, I would like to expand on this idea because, at first blush, the analogy is not correct. The light of the menorah was not the potential that was there to begin with. Oil doesn't burn. The amount of oil that it had in that flask should have burned only one day. There was a miracle, which means to say that God miraculously submerged more light or added more light to the oil so that it should burn for 8 days. But it wasn't potential that was in the oil in the first place. So that we can't say that Chanukah teaches that we have to live up to our potential. But that is the wrong way to understand the miracle of Chanukah. And I say that based on a magnificent comment made by the Rokeach. The Rokeach was, and that was the name of his Sefer, the Rokeach. His name, the author, was Rebelozer from Vermeija, which is the Hebrew word for worms, in Germany. He was a 12th century Talmudist. He was one of the Balitosis. And he wrote a sefer called the Rokeach. That's why he's known as the Sefer HaRokeach. He's known as the Rokeach. The Rokeach is a sefer which intertwines halacha and Kabbalah. And in the Sefer HaRokeach, the Rokeach writes, based on a Yerushalmi, that the Gemara says in Chagiga, that and Daf Yud Beis, that the Torah says, "He are the God when He created the world, He said, let there be light." There was light the first 3 days, even though the sun was not created till the fourth day. So where did the light come from if the sun was created the fourth day? So the Gemara says that until the fourth day, there was some kind of special light. Maybe it was like a spiritual light, which would allow a man could, with that light, could see from one end of the world to the other. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided it's not worthy of the Rishayim to utilize that light, and therefore he hid it. He was going as the light. It's like he buried it. So the Gemara says, where was he going as it for? It was going as it in the Olam Haba for the tzaddikim to be able to enjoy that light. And we refer to that as the Oraganus. Says the Rokeach, how long did that Oraganus, that primeval light, how long did it last? So it lasted for 3 days. 12 hours each day is 36 hours. How many candles on Chanukah are there? There are 36 candles. If you add together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's 36. You can trust me, but you can add it up yourself. The Or Haganos, before the Shemesh was created on the fourth day, there was this Or Haganos that lasted for 36 hours. And there's 36 hours in the candles of Chanukah is because they reflect the Or Haganos that prevailed in the world for the first 36 hours. Haneris Halalu, the Mishnah Berurah quotes the Svarim that it has, that we say after we light the candles, has 36 words, because it's reflective of the Or Haganos. The Rokeach says, Vayar Elokim ki tov. God saw that it was good when He created the light. The word tov begins with a tes, and in the Torah, the letters have tagim, they have crowns. The tes has 4 crowns. 4 tests in Gematria, the numerical value is 9. 4 times 9 is 36. So in the word kitov is a remez, is a hint that there were 36 hours that Or Haganos would prevail. So the menorah is the 36 hours of the Or Haganos. That's why we light 36 candles. So I would like to add to that it doesn't just mean that when we light the menorah, it's a way of remembering that there were 36 hours, 36 candles to the 36 hours. It's not just a way of remembering. I would say as follows. The Or was Ganus. It was hidden. So the Gemara says it was hidden in Olam Haba. But in the Medrash it says that it was hidden in Torah, in Olam Hazeh. In the Torah is the Oraganus, and a tzaddik can access that Oraganus when he studies Torah. And I would expand that even further and say that not only is the Oraganus hidden in Torah, but the Oraganus is hidden in the physical world, and it's accessible to anybody that performs a mitzvah. Mitzvahs unlock the Oraganus, and it allows the Oraganus to shine forth, to be revealed. So, for example, if you take an animal hide, what's an animal hide? But you prepare it and you use it to produce the bottom of tefillin, the cases of tefillin, which have kedusha, which have holiness. And then you use the ore also to write the parshas of the tefillin, and you write mezuzos, and you write sifrei Torah, so which are objects of enormous holiness. And the ore shines forth. Where did that ore come from? That's the ore haganus that was submerged in the animal skins, in the cloth of the animal, in the hides. That ore haganus suddenly is released when a person performs a mitzvah. So I would say that when the Jewish people lit the menorah, the miracle was not that God came and he created more light than that was in the or potentially in the oil. The miracle was the light was potentially in the oil the whole time, but it was ganas, it was hidden, and normally it's not accessible. But because of the spiritual level that the Jews achieved on the Yontif of Chanukah, because they put their lives in danger to fight against the Yevamim so they should have religious freedom, so God allowed, and they had this tremendous desire to restore the Beis Hamikdash to its original glory. So God, when they lit the oil, God allowed the Or Haganas, the ore that was submerged in the oil, it was there the whole time, but it was hidden, it was inaccessible. They were able to unlock that Or Haganas. And it was that Or Haganas that was in the oil that burned for 8 days. So then, in this light, how beautiful is what Rabbi Tendler's comment, because just like there's Or Haganas that's submerged in the physical world, and it has to be unlocked when we do a mitzvah. Every time we do a mitzvah, we release some of the Or Haganas, that hidden light, that spiritual light from the physical world. So even more so, the Or Haganas is hidden not only in the physical world, but the Or Haganas is hidden within our own neshamas. And significantly, the word neshama is the same letters as Hashem, the oil. If you scramble the letters, it's the same letters, neshama and Hashem. And that's because just like oil has the potential to give light, so the neshama is the oil of man. Ner Hashem nishmas Adam. The candle of God is the neshama of man. And that neshama is able to give light because within ourselves is the Or Haganas. Because each one of our cells are at Tzelem Elokim. If the physical world could have Or Haganas, then certainly the neshama, which has an element of the Tzelem Elokim, of the image of God, certainly contains within ourselves the Or Haganas. But so much of that Or Haganas that's contained within ourselves does not get released. It doesn't. It stays hidden throughout our own lives. Yaakov Avinu, when he had the dream of the Sulam Mutzav Arts of Rosh Magiya Shemai, he saw a ladder, and the Malachim were going up the ladder and down the ladder. So I would say that the Malachim going up the ladder and down the ladder means that a person has the capacity to create Malachim, because the person has this Or Haganas is hidden within himself. And the reason why the Malachim, everybody asks, why the Malachim go up the ladder and down the ladder? The answer is that sometimes a person has an aliyah, and the malachim, the ability to find the Or Haganas, is suddenly released and manifested, and a person sees all the inner strength that he has. But other times, the malachim are yardim. There's a periods of yerida, a period of falling, period where we don't feel the sanctity within ourselves. And the lesson of Chanukah is that we have to be Mosif Ahol. You know, there's a famous machokas Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, disagreement. Are we Mosif Ahol or Pochas Ahol? Do we light in ascending order or descending order? Hillel says ascending, every day you add another candle. Shammai says Pochas Ahol, you light every day, you descending order. But we asking like Hillel, that Mosif Ahol. So unfortunately in life, many times we are, instead of being most of a halach, we are pochus a halach. Instead of being olim, instead of going up, we go down. The malachim, instead of having more malachim created by actions, we diminish the malachim, and we fall, and we have a yerida. But the person has to recognize that he has the potential to create kedusha, not to create kedusha, to release kedusha, and to have the malachim be olim. When Yaakov Avinu woke from his dream, he said, there's godliness here, but I didn't realize it. Every single one of us can say that about ourselves. There is godliness within ourselves, in our makom, in our hearts, in our souls, in our neshama. There's godliness, but we don't know. And that's why at times the malachim are yardim, the malachim diminish, because we sell ourselves short. But the goal is that we should have the malachim should not be yardim, but the malachim should be olim. And Chanukah teaches us to have that self-confidence in ourselves, that we do have the Oraganus within, and it can be released. If it can be released from a flask of oil, al achas kama v'kama, how many more times so can it be released from our own souls? And each day of Chanukah, we have to have greater confidence in our ability to tap in and to, like a mine, that you find the oil, and then it suddenly, when you drill down, it suddenly flows forth. We have to find the kedusha that's latent within ourselves. It's not something that comes from the outside. It's there. Just like the potential for the or was in the candles. The potential for kedusha is within ourselves. It just has to be released and revealed. And that's the lesson of Chanukah. And every day when we light the menorah, we have to be olim and not yardim. We go up. We ascend. Malam b'kodesh. We always have to find a way of increasing the kedusha. And each time we have to have greater confidence in our own ability, in our own capacity. Each time we see that, wow, look what we've accomplished. Look what we've able to bring into the world. Look at the light that we're able to reveal into this world. That take something that's gone, that's hidden, and reveal it to everyone. And in that way, as we light the candles, we'll indeed be able to celebrate the great potential that's locked within each and every one of us.